Not so long ago, this poor little bass was left as an orphan, abandoned in an old building with no climate control. And it was up to me to save its life, you guys. I understand there's probably a number of places you could begin with, quote, restoring a guitar, but in my case, I decided to start with cleaning the fretboard. And if you've ever done guitar work of any kind, you'll realize that you need some specialty tools, or in this case, some specialty cleaning supplies. And that is where today's story begins. All right, we got the steel wool. We didn't have wood oil soap. I'd like to support local music stores and hardware stores, but they just didn't have what I needed. So I had to turn to Amazon, and I was able to acquire the wood oil soap and the lemon oil, which are essential for this process. You'll find some links below to all the stuff that I used in this video, and fortunately for you and me, none of it's really all that expensive. Okay, it's been a few days, but the last of my ordered cleaning supplies has arrived. That's the wood oil. So we've got all the things we need to do the initial cleaning, I think. So steel wool, which you got at the hardware store. This is like the finest stuff I could find. By finest, I don't mean quality, although I'm sure this is perfectly fine quality. I mean like this is like the softest, like the fibers are the finest, they're the smallest. But yeah, you get the idea. We've got the wood oil soap. This is for cabinets, wood floors, and then obviously for the exposed wood of the fretboard of the guitar. So I'll be using this a lot in the future, hopefully. Never done this part at all. Then, of course, we have Dunlop 65 fretboard ultimate lemon oil. This just helps keep the wood healthy, I guess. So I've never done this extensive of a process before, but I'm trying to begin my guitar tech journey. Figure this is as good a start as any. This is a random cheap bass that nobody cares about. It was just kind of salvaged from a church, an old church building that we sort of inherited, and we'll see how it turns out. Any kind of guitar work you might want to do is easier with a good surface to do it on. So I have this little desk and an old blanket that nobody cares about, so it's okay if it gets cleaners or string bits on it. Yeah, this fretboard it's definitely dirty. It's a little bit of dirt from use, but you can see there's, like I said, I'm not sure if this is rust or what kind of grime, but it's definitely it's right where the strings are at, and so whatever it is, it's coming from the strings. If we move a little further down, you can see some of the grossness on the actual fretboard, especially down in here. You can see this thing. Well, it's a bass. This is where people play bass all the time. So of course, and then it's just kind of dirty and dusty and all that stuff. So we're gonna clean this up first, and then restring it, set it up, do the whole 9 yards. All right, so we've got to start with taking these hideously disgusting strings off of this guitar. So these little things are not gonna want to slide through this end of the guitar because these are thick strings and it's just a pain in the butt. So what I like to do is I like to snip them. Cutty. If you can see this, that mamma jamma, yeah, no, it's corroded. That's gotta be what's on the frets. This is definitely what was going on with the frets, because this is corrosion right here. It's kind of that greenish color, and that's not just dirt. This is these strings are ancient. The cleaning process begins here with some dusting of the guitar where you can't reach it under the strings, and then I moved on to the wood oil soap, which is not something I've ever used before. To start, I just dabbed a little bit of the soap onto a paper towel and rubbed that into the fretboard, and this actually did take off a little bit of surface dirt right away. The problem with the paper towel is it soaked up a lot of the soap, which isn't what you want. You want it to actually sit on the fretboard so you can scrub it with the steel wool. So in this case, after spilling some onto the blanket, I put another round of soap onto the fretboard and then started to work with the steel wool. This is how you learn, people. You make mistakes. You spill stuff. The steel wool is really easy to use. You just gently run it across the fretboard, and this mixed with the soap seemed to clear up all the dirt really, really well. I did make a mistake here by not putting any tape over top of the pickups on the guitar. Pickups are magnets, and the steel wool fibers can get in there and kind of cause damage. So if you're gonna try this at home, make sure you tape them off. It smells nice. Maybe I do need to really turn this into a serious side hustle, because this is actually really enjoyable and it smells so good. Well, so good is a weird way of saying it. It smells so, I don't know. It smells like work, but a good kind of work. Okay. Look at that. Holy smokes. I finished the cleaning process by just wiping all the soap and the dirt remaining off of the fretboard, and I'm telling you, I knew it was dirty. I had no idea it was going to be this dirty. Let's give this a go. It doesn't sound too complicated. The lemon oil was a bit of a learning process here, just getting it out of the container. You start by shaking it, so don't forget that if you're going to try this at home. You hear that? It's turning into an ASMR video really quickly. Then you want to dab it onto the fretboard kind of firmly, and then you can roll it out. Dab on this hater, dab on this hater. Now I understand. Give it a press, then apply. As per Dunlop's instructions on their lemon oil, I did work some of the oil into the wood. I put a little bit on the rag and just sort of worked it in there. After that, I switched to a dry part of the rag and cleared away all the excess as best I could, which this part does take a minute because it's a little stubborn. Look at that. Wow. Honestly, what a difference. So you can now hopefully very plainly see that this has improved a ton, that the fretboard all the way down to the very end here is looking mighty clean. It really does look a lot better. Now, this is actually the next day, so the oils had, you know, overnight to kind of get in there, and it's still very, very, you can kind of feel it. It's very light, it's very gentle. When I first put it on and cleaned it off, I thought, you know, there's a little more in there than I would like, but now that it's had like a day to sort of soak in there, it's starting to feel a little more like it should. As you can see though, the frets themselves still have some of that corrosion and stuff on them, and they're just a little dull looking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and polish these things up. Okay friends, if you have ever cleaned a fretboard, or if you have your own way of doing it, or if you think I did something tragically wrong, feel free to leave a comment down below. It would be much appreciated. Thank y'all for watching. Hope you got something out of this. If you are interested in learning how I polish the frets and restore the rest of this guitar, subscribe, pay attention to the channel, because there's going to be more of that. Now, there's going to be lots more besides guitar repair stuff. I do my own original music and covers and all kinds of musical gear related stuff. So stick around for that. All right, I'll see you in the next video.